We're going to continue in Jackson County today, and the Woodville Panthers is Coach Matt Sanders beginning his second season as a head man at Woodville. Coach, if you'd either introduce the players or let them introduce themselves and make an opening comment about your team this year, if you would, please.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So right here we got Ace Weaver. He's returning starter for us. Played running back for us last year. He's moving to tight end, and he'll be DB as well. We got Sam Peak here. He is also a junior and will be quarterback and linebacker. Also can run some DB as well for us. Over here we got our one senior, Shane Hughes. He's going to be O-line, D-line, and then Steve Williams. He's going to be a sophomore, and he's O-line and D-line. I brought these guys up here because they were voted by their team as our student council, our football council. They kind of set the rules. If you miss practice, they tell you what you got to do. I'm trying to make it more where it's more player-led than coach-led because teams that are led by their coach, to be honest with you, don't go very far. So trying to get that out of them a little more, and they've done a great job. As far as the upcoming season, we're really excited. I think there's no secret. We had a bad season last year, and we've all owned up to that. I've done some soul searching in the off season, and you know, we've changed a few things, and it started as soon as we were done after week 10. So starting in November, we hit the weights hard, and every one of these guys' maxes have shot up majorly, and you can tell a difference. We had around 18 players last year, 7 through 12, and some of those players when we played Otter, that was their first varsity start. A majority of them, it was their first start in football, so that was really tough. Not a lot of experience there, and not to make any excuses, but it still hit them pretty hard. The good news is they kept fighting. We didn't have anybody quit on us, and they came in, tried to get better week in and week out. And I could see bits and pieces of improvement week in and week out, and we carried that on in the spring. We were able to get about 40-something players out for spring install. We didn't have a true spring or a spring game, but we had install. That number's dwindled down to about 38, 7 through 12, and we've averaged over 30 for the entire summer, which is a lot better from averaging about 10 last year. So it's definitely an improvement from last year. So.
That had to be encouraging for you because I think this time last year your numbers were really, really low headed into fall practice. So talk about number of players. You already said you had several in the program now. Returning starters, offense, defense.
We have 8 guys that started last year, and we got 2 guys that played some snaps for us. Didn't necessarily start, but subbed in some. And then, all 4 of these guys started every game for us. So they were able to get some experience there. I know Steve was in the 9th grade last year, therefore he got to play a little junior high as well. So really and truly, I think we have 5 junior high games, so he had basically 15 games that he could get better at. And that's how a lot of our kids are. We're very, with one senior, we're very junior and sophomore heavy. So all those sophomore got a lot of game reps last year, which is big for them. But we have about 8 starters returning. But now we've also added 2 kids that one we pulled out of our hallway, one that was moved in for us, and they're going to be starting for us and be pretty good athletes for us. So,
Coach, your first year, of course, coming in, late getting started and everything. And to piggyback off what you were talking about, the student council, and you let them take care of a lot of things. You think sometimes coaches, try to beat into the kids' heads the same things over and over and over again, and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But when the players are talking to each other, they seem to listen better.
Yeah, we've had some players that have, kind of missed a couple of days here and there over the summer, and I can call them, but to me, it's just that old guy that yells at them sometimes in practice. So it means more when their best friend calls them and say, hey, we need you here. You need to be here. And, I think they've taken on that role pretty well. I obviously kind of oversee that. And basically I told them, I was like, look, if somebody misses practice, I said, I want you to come up with a punishment. And they all got together and they had a meeting and they came up with it, talked to me about it. I think I may have sent them back one time and then they came back with something else and to add to that. So, I just think that it's better for them to lead this team than it is me. I'm here to facilitate some things, but ultimately they've got to lead the team because once the game starts, my ability, it stops at those white lines. So they're going to be the ones out there on the field making everything happen. So
This is for the players. Coach Sanders comes in. This is his second year. I know you lost your coach the year before, and you guys were used to the old coach. So Coach Sanders comes in. Has he established that trust among you guys to where he is now the guy and you are ready to make things happen at Woodville? How has he been an influence on you?
He's definitely set things straight and made us listen a lot more and, be a lot more thoughtful about most things. He set a line for us to meet and stuff like that. It's really helped a lot. He's set us goals that we have to hit and certain things like that.
Yeah, definitely. He's trusted us a bunch because we have the council, and he wants the team to be player-led, so he goes much further, and we trust him as well. So
He's helped change our culture around here, which is something we really needed. So, that's all I got.
He's really helped us in the weight room and become a better player and a better person. And it's really nice to have a coach that you can look at like a dad. And he's really been there for me when I needed it. And I thank him. That's all I got.
My question is to you, Coach. A lot of good things come out of adversities. Last season, you didn't win the games, but what did you learn? Obviously, that's going to help you coming into this off season right here, and obviously over into this fall camp.
Yeah, I tell our guys a failure is only a failure if you don't learn from it. You're going to go through life and you're going to hit a couple losses here and there, but you got to always learn from those mistakes and get better and move forward. As far as last year, I learned a lot of stuff about who our kids were. And I think I was asking them to do stuff that they weren't really built for. And I think what we've done, we're changing our offense up a lot better. And I think as we got, it was more like coming in late last year, it was, hey, we're going to do this. And it didn't really suit us too much. And as we kept on, we wound up putting 288 yards against Cedar Bluff, and they're one team in the region last year, which I'm proud of our guys, how hard they fought in that game. That was our best game offensively, and we ran the ball a lot more efficient that game. And I think we're going to get more to that this year. So as far as that, we learned a lot on that end. I think they learned a lot about who they are, and they understand the challenges that they were faced with last year. There's not a lot of coaches that, out of that 18 people, I started a seventh grader all year, which was Steve Williams' brother. And he's a big seventh grader, and he'll be an eighth grader now. But he's still an eighth grader. He's still got a lot of learning to do. That they understand how tough the situation was last year for us. But once again, they kept fighting, they kept coming back, and they kept learning from those mistakes. And I think if we continue to do that, there's wins to come for this team. So,
next question is for you players. I would actually be fired up if I was in your position because there's nowhere to go but up. And for you guys to come back out and stick it out, to me, when the chips are down, that shows a lot of character about yourselves. So what are some of the things you guys are going to do personally to make sure you're going to be that foundation for the future of your program?
Just set a line that needs to be met, win a certain amount of games, put a certain amount of hours in, just work harder than we ever did before, and set a line for all the underclassmen to make.
Definitely, we're the foundation, and we can always get, our friends to more foundation to make it stronger and just keep adding people and just make it even stronger.
We just got to hold everybody accountable.
Well, we got to hold everybody accountable and make sure they're at practice every day, every minute, every second. And every time that we got everybody there, it just makes us better as a person. And our scout team really helps us get ready for games and stuff like that. And I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Players, I know Coach went to recruiting the hallways, but did you guys kind of do that with some of your friends? You know, try to get them to come out and join you guys out there, because it's with the season you guys went through. A lot of times people wouldn't want to, come out for that. But how did you guys sell the program and sell the vision?
It was pretty difficult because a lot of people had seen that and really didn't want to join into something like that. But with Coach's help and everything else, trying to get people out was one of the biggest deals for this year's season.
Yeah, definitely tried, and it's really hard, negativity and stuff, but he's really good at like talking about that stuff and getting people to come out and play.
We just had to annoy them enough until they finally agreed.
Recruiting the halls was hard, but once everybody come out there and seen how fun we was having, they really fell in love with it.
Coach, how encouraging was it for you to not only to keep everybody, but to see those kind of number gains, and
Yeah.
what do you think the prospects it means for the program going forward?
Well, we basically did a lot of work upgrading our facilities. We've got some 16-year-old program. The field house is obviously younger than that, but we just kind of made it home. And we did a lot of work in the off season and trying to put some graphics on the walls and on lockers, LED lights in the locker rooms. Wound up putting our 3-man sled to a 5-man sled, and just improving everywhere we could, getting more equipment that makes us better. And then trying to sell that vision to those kids. I was blessed with the schedule I had, and I was able to take each grade, 6th through 11th, now our 7th through 12th graders, and said, look, this is what it was 0-10. Imagine what it would be if y'all would come out, if you contributed. And it's just trying to preach that message to them and getting them to see that vision. And it's a great feeling compared to last year where we're at now. So I'm pretty ecstatic about it. So,
Coach, you're 1A Region 7. Most of the teams you've lined up and played against last year, does that help in preparation for this year, the familiarity of the teams that's on your schedule?
it does. Everybody in our region we played last year, they switched Decatur Heritage and Summerton Christian out of our region, but we played Decatur Heritage last year in week 5. Lucky for us, Decatur Heritage lost that really good quarterback. I think he was the 1A back of the year. He's up at UNA right now, and I'm glad to see him go on to better things. But, it does help to know, how familiar they are. I know that Valley Head is going to be really strong with the number 24, their quarterback. He really gets to go in there. Cedar Bluff's going to be Cedar Bluff, Decatur Heritage, they're going to be on top, and Coach Stover's going to do a good job there. So, and really, it's like, Jason said earlier, or somebody, I can't remember who asked the question, but the only place to go up from here is up, so for us. So it's exciting. We think that we're a better team than what we were last year, and, we had a really good week of practice this week, and looking forward to continuing on. So,
Thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate you being with us today. Thank you, guys. Good luck to the Panthers this year.
all right, thank y'all for everything y'all do.